Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today I'm excited to share my first design team project for the month of January for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. And again, if you guys are not familiar with Kim's store, she does have an Etsy store where she sells gorgeous laces, trims, embellishments, doilies, paper, flowers, embellishments, bling, also some of her handmade items, just to name some of the items that she does carry in her store. And she does offer free shipping to the US if you spend $35 or more, which I think is a great deal. And if you open up that description box below, I do have a link to her Etsy store. Again, it's AngeldreamCraftsKim. And I also have links to her Instagram account where you get to see pictures of some of our design team projects, also pictures of new items in her store. And I also have links for the other ladies who are participating on the design team. And so I know they would love to have you go check out their channels if you haven't already, again, to see what they are creating with all of the beautiful goodies that Kim sells in her store. And for my project this month, I did decide, I was inspired, I guess, by the Book Vandal on YouTube. And she had created this little folio, ephemera folio. And on hers, she just used one sheet of paper, a 12 by 12 paper. But I decided to incorporate a paper pad that Kim carries in her Etsy store. It's a beautiful paper pad. It's called La Vie en Rose. It's vintage and a little bit shabby. And I do think it's very lovely, especially for Valentine's Day coming up. It just has kind of a nice romantic feel to it. And so I did use about half of this paper pad on this project today, and the other half I will be using on my second project later in the month. And if you want to see a full walkthrough, I do in my design team package reveal video early this month, I did go through all the different sheets. So if you do want to see those, I do have that available to you in the description box below. And again, I was inspired by the Book Vandal's video on how to create this, and I will leave that link listed below. But it's this cute little kind of ephemera folio that you use like a manila file folder, and again, I added paper over it. And so you can kind of see I use some cardstock that matched the paper collection, and then I use the beautiful paper that Kim sells in her store. And I did sew around each of the edges on this. And I did that throughout the whole project. And so I did start off with using a closure on mine. And this is some seam binding, which Kim does sell some different hand-dyed seam binding in her store. And so I just did my closure kind of like this, so it wraps around and then it ties kind of on the front. And then you can see I created kind of a little cluster of little goodies from her store in the background. Back here you can see some beautiful little cut-aparts that I use from one of her laces. Also this beautiful sheer lace, I gathered up part of it to kind of create a little bit of fan. And then I did the same thing with this beautiful pink tulle trim in her store. And the beautiful bling also is from her store. And I went ahead and added some eyelash trim behind that before I glued it down. And then she also carries some beautiful like Venice type trims in her store, and so I did cut one of them apart just to make this little snippet, and I hung a charm on a gourd pin. And again, Kim does sell the charms in her store and the gourd pin, and I'll hold it up close so you guys can see it. They're all beautiful products, and I'll show you maybe up close before I keep on going what some of these trims look like. So here's that 2-layered tulle trim, and she does carry that in several different colors, and I used the pink. And then here was that sheer trim that I used. And then here was kind of that Venice type trim. And again, I just cut out this part right here for this little layering piece that I used underneath the little fan that I created right there. It's a fun little trim to use on snippets. I also used this beautiful dangle trim, but I only used part of it. This dangle trim had a really nice top to it. And so I just cut the top off, and so here's the little pieces that I have left that I'll be able to incorporate into another project, but I just cut off the top and use those on this project today. And then she has some of this beautiful cotton trim that's really fun to cut up and use the flowers and the different pieces. So I did use some of the pieces from this trim right here. And you can see I cut some flowers up there and then some flowers that were down here also. So here's kind of what it looks like when it's all together. And then this other trim right here that I just showed you right back here with the flowers, that one came off of this beautiful trim right here. And then just to show you again the bling that I use from her store. I use this beautiful one with the rhinestones and the pearls. I use this beautiful angel charm. And then I wanted to show you two other things that I debated about when I was creating this. So in the middle up here, I kept on going back and forth between using the beautiful piece of bling or this vintage lady cabochon that she has in her store. And I thought that would be really pretty too also in the middle. But I did end up ultimately with the piece of bling. And then also for the little charm, she does carry some different charms in her store. And I almost hung one of these charms on there instead of the angel. And these were the little perfume bottles that I thought were really fun too. So those would have been cute to hang off of that also. And so again, I layered paper from that La Vie en Rose paper collection and I sewed around it. And so when you open it up, you can see up here I have a pocket. And then this also folds down and opens here to reveal more of the folio. And so up here in the pocket, you can see I added up on tops, I cut out some of those trims. I added some flat back pearls in them. I also layered the paper to create a pocket. And you can see the paper, and I added some of the flowers, again with flat back pearls to them. And then also with one of my scraps, after I had laid all the paper out, I did punch out a little heart just to create a little embellishment right there. And so that was the top pocket. And then I also created some little journal cards inside of there so you can journal on the back. And I just used craft cardstock. And again, I layered the leftover pieces of paper that I had left over after I created the foundation for this. And so I used those on all my journal cards. And I went ahead and did some layering with some of the trim. So this one had that bigger cut apart rose on it. And then there's some tulle and some eyelash trim behind it. But it makes a really nice journal card. So in this pocket down here, again, I started off with cardstock, layered some of the paper from that beautiful paper collection, La Vie en Rose. And on top of that, I added this beautiful trim right here. And this was a cut apart. This is the trim that I cut apart that had the dangle leaf on it. And so I cut just that top trim off just because I wanted just a little bit of trim showing when the folio was closed. You could see just a little bit hanging right there. And so I wanted something pretty. And so I went ahead and added that there. I also layered this sentiment that says collect beautiful moments. And I got that from my crafty friend, Deanna Marie. We were in a swap and she gave me some different pieces. And this piece happened to match this paper collection perfectly. And so in this pocket again, I created another piece of a journal card. And again, I used some leftover paper after I had finished constructing it and sewed around the edges. It's just again on craft cardstock. This time I went ahead and added a digital image, and these digital images come from TaylorMade journals. And I also went ahead and added some eyelash trim behind it just to give it a little bit more character. And so again, here's the little pocket. You could stick, you know, these are pretty good sized pockets. I could stick several cards in here, but I just chose to stick one card in each spot. And so then when you open up this, when you flip it down, again, there is another pocket. And I kind of did the mirror image. And again, the digital images is from TaylorMade journals. I added the beautiful trim from Kim's shop that I cut apart with a flat back pearl and the little eyelash trim behind it. I just love how that turned out. And again, when you pull it out, you can kind of see the whole pocket there. And I created another journal card similar to the other one that I shared with you guys. And so now for the middle of this little folio, you can see that pretty paper that looked like the lace. And I had used that on this journal card right here. And I put that on the inside and the outside of this little folio part. Again, I stitched around it and I added some of that dangle trim when I had cut off the dangle trim from this top part right here. I used some of those leaves then on this part of the folio. And I love how that turned out. That's so pretty. And so when it is open again, there is one last final pocket in the middle. And again, I layered the paper and added some more of her trims with the flat back pearls and the eyelash trim behind it. Which I really think all those little white cotton trims that have the little cut apart flowers in them are so much fun to use. And if you were to buy those, you get so much bang for your buck on those because it just, you know, one little piece and it goes pretty far, you know. I have all these little bits and pieces. And then the last journal card, again, very similar to this one, but it's bigger with the beautiful lace paper and the roses on that one. And then of course, you can see some of the paper right here from that paper collection. It was a gorgeous paper collection. And I was so thrilled to be able to work with that paper collection. It was so pretty to work with. So one final look at my completed ephemera folio that I created using products from AngeldreamCraftsKim. I love how this turned out, and hopefully you guys are excited by it also. And again, if you are interested in any of the products that I used today, don't forget to open up the description box and click on the link for AngeldreamCraftsKim. Again, she's on Etsy. And again, I have all those other links that I mentioned earlier also in my description box. Until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.